with a slip and fall accident. Go ahead with your question, Stephanie.
Yes, hi, thank you. I was on vacation and slipped and fell at a resort, and I was out of the country. So their laws are a little bit different than what we have over here. And what I want to know is, how can I get some type of compensation because I've been having problems with my knee?
Can you tell us what country you were in?
I was in Dominican Republic.
Okay. Brian, you want to take a stab at that guy? I mean, you just handled a slip and fall at a resort. I don't think it was at the Dominican though. But
no, I will go ahead and plead ignorance on what the laws are. But most
in the Dominican,
yes.
Yes.
But most places are very similar to Florida, where if a dangerous condition causes you to be injured on someone else's property, so the resort, and they knew or should have known of the dangerous condition, right, that's when they can be held accountable. So I think the most common thing is at resorts I've seen is people are wet from a pool or wet from the beach and dragging water in. And that causes people to fall, whereas the resorts potentially could either be cleaning that up more often or having mats down or having mats at the pool area, providing towels and things like that. But essentially, if the resort either knew or should have known of a hazardous condition and that's what caused you to be injured, in Florida, that's how you can hold them accountable. I know most of the time when we have cases or something pops up out of the country, we are part of a Trial Lawyers Association. Right. Which is mostly Florida, and then we have a lot, in the United States. But a lot of us have ran into a situation where a friend of a friend is injured, and then we make a relationship with someone who's out of the country. So you can definitely contact our office, and then we can potentially help you find somebody who can handle that case.
Yeah, give us a call tomorrow morning, Stephanie, and we can get in further detail with you. Brian, what also comes to mind is if maybe it's an American corporation that owns the resort down in the Dominican, being able to serve them properly if you have to file a lawsuit, and obviously getting some information from them, and assuming that it's a resort with cameras and some type of recording devices to help secure some of the information that we would need, the evidence that would help you investigate the cases. And I mean, I hate to say this, some of the resorts in some of the countries are really third world resorts. They're not up to date. They may fight you tooth and nail and may not even have cameras. But if it's a multinational or a American corporation, I'm thinking of one of the big hotel chains that has resorts all over the world, obtaining information from them is a lot easier at times because they do have the camera systems up, and investigating these cases are a lot easier. So, Stephanie, in a nutshell, it's kind of an onion, so to speak. The more layers that you peel off, it's just tons of layers. So if you would give us a call on tomorrow morning, we'll be glad to jump in with it. Let's go back to the insurance, Brian. So we just talked about how motorcycle insurance is different than automobile insurance because you don't have the mandatory PIP insurance that covers someone. And so there are actually situations where someone could own a vehicle, own a motorcycle, and have the proper insurance on the vehicle, but not have proper insurance on the motorcycle.
Well, it's just, and I know you know this, you can have your personal injury protection on your auto policy. That follows you wherever you are in Florida. So if I'm in Chris's vehicle, and we get hit by somebody, my insurance is going to pay my personal injury protection benefits. It follows me where I go. It does not follow you whenever you are on a motorcycle. Right. That's just how the law is. I would guess because most of the time when someone is injured on a motorcycle, it is a bad injury and those $10,000 benefits are gone. I think 80%, I think we have the statistics, result in injuries or death compared to 20% of injuries or death in car wrecks when it's a motorcycle as opposed to just a car versus car. So it's 4 times more likely someone is going to be injured or killed when they are in an accident on a motorcycle versus a car. So that's probably the reason that those benefits do not follow you. We
probably don't have this slide to put up, but let's reiterate this one more time. Motorcycles, 40% of accidents, 40% are caused by distracted driving. 70% take place at an intersection. And 80% of those accidents involve a death compared to the 20% if you just
Injuries or death.
Injuries or death. Yes, and compared to 20% in car wrecks. And so it's very important to look twice, save a life if you're the person that's not on a motorcycle, okay? And give them the roadway. I mean, they're a vehicle. They're supposed to be there. They're allowed to be there. But also, if you own a motorcycle, make sure that you have the proper coverage. Brian's alluded to it, and we can get into uninsured motorists after the break. But if you don't have the proper coverage, don't assume that just because you have, because sometimes you have coverages under different policies under the same household. Don't just assume that you're covered. So